It's one way to show us they're deserving to be here, and Dok, with his 1,300 damage and 11 eliminations, really showing why we call him the MVP of CSA.
Yeah, as Blank said during that game, the dockening is happening!
The player looking to eat dust here, but it is 4MV, in fact, getting the back line here of Na'Vi. I think Na'Vi forgot the original droppers over here on Sosnovka.
We were bored on the military base. You merely rotated here. It's 4MV. Lay claim to the mountaintop there. Apex will get rezzed up here. Na'Vi, they're embroiled in this scrap with Enigma Galaxy. Falcons are crunching in behind this on the other side of the bridge. Blank. DRX are starting to think about doing the same. And this West. But the sort of mistakes we've seen before is where they get a little bit overconfident with their peaks and their splits. But
it's good or it's very bad. Or it's very good. Okay.
Or it's very
on the other hand, trying to rely on Flower in the back line.
Going well, though, the spray downs over towards RCB, but finally Loxy finds his feet, steps forwards, leans his shoulder down, and charges. TJB pushed back, and now just 676 on the off angle. There's no way you get this res. You can't stay in the blue for RCB. The only way they get these players back up is if they move them forwards. They get them through. Oh, the wedge on the vehicle. That is really rough. Silas is going to go down here. Sara very likely to fall as well.
No way!
They pick him up on the bonnet. All right,
No way!
to be rolled on forward. Sara can crawl down behind the vehicle. They're not into the zone just yet. They might be able to find the res here, but it's so on the line. It's down to the wire. Wild might be able to find it, but in the meantime, out left for RCB. It was getting a little bit crazy there, but finally we find some sanity to be able to get through as quick as he did. Thundertalk going to try and send towards the roadside, but getting lit up by Apex. And the second as well, soon to follow. 4MV staying alive, 7 elims and 4 players. Let's see what they can do from the southwest side.
4MV, this is a good opportunity. Look, the fact of the matter is, 7 elims, they've not done too terribly in the last 3 matches, up to 18 points. With 5 eliminations early on, great stuff.
Cilio down to 3 players though. They're trying to push in on this eastern side. You can see Nomi, the outpost for Team Spirit, towards.
There's a team, although looking first place, looking more for redemption here at PMGC also. Side in Cilio, once again into those final moments of the game with 5 eliminations early on. Great roadblock for them going forward. We've got the purple massive over towards the western side. Huge from 4MV, completely obliterates Na'Vi.
Able to take down the remaining players of Na'Vi. Dok with a big clear out guild, and on the south side they will have a little slow down, influence rage, and seemingly it's going to be fairly successful. But it's 4MV, the main benefactors here. There is a knock sent back their way, but will that be a flush? Will that be taken away? I'm not entirely sure. Dok on that forefront does have a teammate right next to him. Enigma Galaxy as well. They're fighting on 2 fronts. Apex has been knocked. Redox goes down then, and Ralph is low, taken away as well. That comes through from the nade from Reapus. 2 eliminations found, and 4MV up to 15 elims. Looking to try and get that res. You can see Matic is giving ground and allowing them to move up to this ridgeline. He nade over towards Westron. Team Spirit still holding 3 players in this compound. And they found the opening right over on the...
This horrendous location versus Incilio.
The only thing keeping Matic alive is the Vicious as well, but he is slowly bleeding out. You can see his health bar almost nothing, and I don't think Team Spirit get this one back under control. Incilio with a last-ditch wide sweep here in the McLaren, and David looks all the way on the wraparound. The backline certainly not so lucky as Apex crest the ridgeline over towards their high ground counterpoint. On the east edge, they have the blue zone pushing. Fash has to step up, Redlick as well. Incilio not long for this one.
Dok is going insane inside this game. 8 eliminations. The nades have been flowing thick and fast. The Baron of the zone, the Apex Predator of the circle. And Dok, he needs no introductions.
Team Spirit on the rollout. 1 player dropped by the wayside. It's Kitsune and Effects to move into the rest of the match. Spray.
A Molotov drops to the ground, then he'll burn to a crisp. Kitsune is out. Now down to 2 players, the Vicious and 4MV, 21.
Could see him, so even if he got a little bit over-aggressive, he was going to have the backup of his teammate to keep him alive and allowed to be the fragging machine Dok we know can be.
And not only that, even towards the later stages, he was there within his squad. He was making sure that his squad, in case something ended up happening, they were able to cover him. He wasn't overextending, but when he ended up overextending, that's when he ended up getting knocked. So you can still see the pattern is still there for that team, but the confidence, that's what I want to see, how this team is going to be playing for the rest of the day. And I know you've been asking about this question, Jason. Is this the only time that we're going to be seeing a performance like
And it's 4MV with 23 eliminations and a chicken dinner on the last Erangel of the day.
Had a very similar game, and they were able to pull off a ton of eliminations, but really not much developed off the back of that. But at least for them here in the grand finals, that is one way to show us they're deserving to be here. And Dok, with his 1,300 damage and 11 eliminations, really showing why we...
I hope, insane amount of damage, 1,298. But I hope for this team, I hope they don't get too cocked.
Team we do discuss when it comes to those in particular, it's Alpha 7, and I want to talk about maybe the rotation here, going through the West Bridge. Now we
Performing well, they need to just narrow down that decision making, and they need to stick to it.
First place for MV.
Not surprised,
Bruh.
especially after that performance.
After that game, for sure. I mean, the game.
placement points really showing that they're struggling to get into these later positions, and maybe they're getting caught out in rotations.
I kind of